This is our first opportunity to discuss what's been going on with the NWSL, the recent news, the bombshell of an article from Meg Linehan, friend of the show, Katie Strang as well, who co-wrote the article, and the issues of sexual harassment, sexual abuse, coercion, a thing. I
want to say that they brought them to light, but apparently they had been brought to light.
Yeah.
And buried, which is not how you handle these things.
Right. So look, when it comes to issues like these in the workplace, we know that women face challenges in the workplace that men do not. That is obvious. We are, we've tried to be a show where we simply, we're not actively thinking about like, let's get female soccer players on the show for any kind of weird.
Let's just get soccer players.
Yeah,
we don't care. We don't care what or with sex, with this, with that. It don't matter to us. If you kick a ball and get paid for it, we want to talk to you.
Okay,
you feel me?
Your life is more interesting than ours, right? So we're interested. So we've had plenty of NWSL players on the show, and to hear about these things that happen in many workplaces, maybe it's us being naive. Maybe we just think, oh, these players, they're the best players in the world. They are icons. They are heroes to so many. They probably don't deal with the same things, right? And how wrong were we, right? Because
absolutely. Especially when you think of, wanting to be a coach in a league that's a women's league, you'd almost think like you've been vetted, or you made it to a point where the creeps and the weirdos have been sort of, if you got into it for a reason other than the love of the game, you've kind of been pushed out of the game. And it's shocking to see that even at a high level, those things persist. And and it just feels so odd to me that, and this is, again, our naivety, but in a league for women felt uncomfortable about coming out about a man who was a predator. You know what I mean? It's like, this feels like the place where you kind of should be able to say that.
Right.
And this felt like the place where you would have people that have your back. So in light of this article and incredible, reporting, and obviously, shouts to Mana Shim and Fairley, who put themselves on the line and told their story. A lot of things, and a lot of the players that came to defend them, like an Alex Morgan, who put out, well, here's what I know about what happened.
Yeah.
I've been trying to say it, and here's an email I got from Lisa Baird, and that led to that, plus this reporting led to Lisa Baird's resignation. From the NWSL.
We've had Lisa Baird on the show. She was on the show a couple months ago. There's just so much. Reading the article was truly heartbreaking, right? It's like paragraph after paragraph of really no one stepping up to resolve this issue, right? And obviously, we're talking about former head coach of the North Carolina Courage, Paul Riley, who was previously the head coach of the Portland Thorns, and where the initial accusation and investigation happened. But there's so many things at play because so many people clearly dropped the ball. There are Thorne's management for not being very clear about why his contract wasn't renewed. And the former NWSL commissioner who, when this investigation is happening and you have this information, it shouldn't be where, 6 months later, Paul Riley has another job. Like, when you hear the allegations of like trying to take a player out on a date and constantly getting them drunk, and like, this is not a person that should be around young women.
Answering the door to your office in your underwear, that wouldn't fly in any other job.
Right.
If that happened at a Chipotle, there would be, that person would be fired.
Exactly.
How is this allowed in the NWSL? And then on top of that, the questions have to be asked, because if the email that Alex Morgan sent that said, hey, I just want to remind you, Lisa Baird, you're new in the job. Yeah. Hey, there was this thing that happened in Portland. You might want to take a look at it. And for her to respond, hey, that investigation was already closed. Enjoy your day, which seems cold. I want to know what happened in that investigation. And then the question becomes, what happens next? You and I are big fans of the league, and we want to see the league survive. Can the league survive?
Yeah, I mean, Meg Linehan has been on several TV shows kind of mentioning this as well, about how there's a little bit of fear of calling out the league because there's a fear that the league will fold and it will fall apart, and any negative news will the league will end up dissolving, because it has happened to WPS, the WUSA, the two former leagues before NWSL, and there's a lot of people that were in those leagues that dealt with that are afraid that it will happen again. Our guest coming up, Sebastian Salazar, said this on Fútbol Americas, and I really liked it because he mentioned that he was he's a coach, and there is no room for any ambiguity about the safety of players and the comfort of players. You are a coach. You have to hold yourself like to a very, very high standard. You get one chance. You mess up once, that's it. No, people are not going to trust you. Parents are not going to trust you.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not the Catholic Church. You don't just get to move to a different parish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing where it's not about protecting the institution, right? That we all can agree with that, but it takes that bravery to say, hey, this has to stop right now, and to have 3 coaches just in the last couple months have these accusations come out. Like, that's it. The players are done with it. They don't have to deal with this like mental, emotional, sexual abuse to simply do their jobs.
That's why hopefully maybe some of those former players, maybe those players that are retiring, some of the ones that we look at as leaders, whether it's politically or in their community, maybe they can come back and have some type of leadership role, kind of like Yael has done for Gotham FC. Maybe use that as a bit of a model to show that, you know what, you can be a leader and you can stop these things from happening, hopefully by being there and showing that there is a path forward and there is someone who's going to listen to you, because what's happened already should never happen again. And it's a damn shame that it did.
Exactly.